So it's actually 11 days since I've been gliding, and Digne is in the distance right there. Here it is, and Mazel, where I'm being staying, is 15-minute drive away on the right. My host's daughter gave me a lift in for the day, and it was really cool to explore. Day in Digne today. I love this place. So the first time I landed in Digne was in that little car park. Dropped my wing over that bush. And I think it's been a good run because it's slightly downhill following the river. It's a risky business. Yeah, lots of routes on this as I remembered, but slow speeds in a wheelchair gives you something to jump. It's alright. So I just talked to one of the bus drivers, and they've got this adapted buses. Like there was a wheelchair sign on the side. I'm not quite sure how it worked. I was talking to the driver, but you have to give them notice, like 36 to 48 hours notice. I think they maybe have to pull some seats out or something to make it wider. But yeah, it's sort of half adapted, I guess. I was going to say it's very quiet in these back streets, but then the town bell rang for midday. This ramp was fine, pulling myself up on the handrails, but must have looked like a bit of a struggle because a passing motorbike guy offered me a hand. Electric Zoe car, and I opted for going downhill. Vintage money machine. So here's the main square in Digne. So I think this is that underground car park that Jeanette was talking about that's a waste of money because they have to stop it filling up with water all the time. But it's got disabled access, and I might try out the disabled toilet. There was someone who came and helped me open the door, so I felt a bit like better go in and pretend I'm supposed to be here. But yeah, a few people use it. Just had a plat du jour at Halong Wok, Oslo, and I love the washing hanging off the balconies. It's just the look for me. Well, I've gone all around these streets, and it's often a bit bumpy and a few little challenges for the wheelchair, but it's all very workable. Came up to the church, and it's really hard to go uphill on these streets without getting offers of assistance. After about the third one, I gave in, and this really dark-skinned African guy gave me a lift, and he spoke French better than I do, but he's probably lived here a lot longer than I have, and they do speak a bit of French in Africa, so there you go. So the main street in Digne, and I just had a guy make a joke in French, attention 30 km per hour, that I was speeding on the wheelchair. And another time I saw some guy wearing an All Blacks jersey, and I said All Blacks, and I think he didn't understand straight away, but then I patted my chest and he understood. Next I visited a local pilot who I met last week. He hasn't done much flying though. So Genevieve is giving me a lift home. His daughter brought me in this morning, and I was saying, as far as petrol stations go, station d'essence, this one has a decent view, and Genevieve told me that in the winter when it's very dry, the chamois come down there to drink. And back in paradise with a shite load of food to get through. Oh, good times. So a great day out in Digne. And here's the 5 one-minute videos I posted to Instagram, gliding and wheelchair ramps. So this is my second flight the other week with Bart. Awesome, he took over with all the gliders and this thermal, so I could stick the old camera out the window, and that's heading out to the flats. That's Mazel, where I'm staying, down on the right, Digne, and in there is where I started. We're above La Big, which is where I started my last Malbiv up to Annecy just before the accident. and only just over 2,000 metres. Pic de Beur is the snowy ones in the distant right, and La Motte is the same direction. And we cruised up here to Luxeuil-Ponson, although it got a bit chilly. So when I landed, I checked my feet, and they didn't seem too cold, so that was good. Bart just turned the wing. I didn't realise he had. I thought he'd just hold it there. I didn't realise he had enough power to turn the whole aircraft around. Yeah, awesome flight today, but we got cold fingers. So another cold night, and that frost prevention fan thing over there is so noisy. So it's been going all night like last night, and yesterday it didn't finish even during the briefing. I had a shower last night, and yeah, quite a full bladder this morning somehow. Yeah, 2 good flights so far with Bart, and maybe today I might fly with Arno. I'm happy that you found something here, hopefully. Free wheel and some lovely views. Bit of cloud development today and some showers. This might be a showstopper, but first I'm going to try and move that bit of sorry buddy. Glad I changed out of my slippers for this. I think this could be a showstopper. So going uphill, of course it's harder because of gravity, but you also have to lean really far forward so you don't fall over backwards. And when I jump there's a bit of a pause while I have to get my body weight forward again to have another crack at it. And that little bump is tricky, but those blocks make it easier, but you have to hit them square on with the wheels. I mean, I could pull the door frame to get in, but for some reason going out seems to be a little bit easier. Maybe the ramp's slightly better. So check out the slow-mo, it's pretty interesting. I'm basically over, but I wheel the main wheels back to keep the front wheels down. And once I've got my body weight forward, I can keep going forwards. This ramp's a gentler gradient. I could go down with the front wheels on the ground, but it's more comfortable leaning back. And yeah, those little feet stayed in the footrest that time. The cushion makes them a little further away. So this is the front door. I don't use it much, but it's actually not too bad. Originally, Johnny put a ramp there, but I went for this half step instead. You can do steps if they're one at a time, and half of the time's even better because you don't need a runner. So yeah, going down, fine. The gravel's definitely want to lift up those front wheels to make it a bit easier to get around on that. But yeah, the half step, piece of cake. Lean forward, bit of a push as you've got both rear wheels flush on the surface, and when you get to this one, I think it's a slightly deeper step, but using the door frame works a treat. And with hills, yeah, it's all about being able to lean forward far enough that your front wheels can stay on the deck, because if they don't, you have to pull your main wheels back and then you're not going up the hill anymore.